Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Hendrik, co-founder and CEO of Fernride. We are a technology company from Munich in Germany and started the venture 5 years ago and have become the European market leader for autonomous electric trucks. And we did not want to start directly with the moonshot, where it might work in a couple of years on public roads, but really where it works today. So we implement autonomous electric trucks on yards, on geofenced areas like container terminals in ports, in distribution centers, in manufacturing facilities, and then go the next step towards the open roads.
Hello, hi, good morning everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Qadir Ahmed. I'm an ITS project expert. Our role as a government organization is basically for the industry, all their assets, whether it's land, sea, or air, deploying all the systems that help us from point A to point B. Look after the traffic signals, the parking, buses, the taxis, as well as all the non-segregation and ferries. So glad to be here. I will give you a perspective of how we're going to be working together to provide a multimodal approach of managing the transportation.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Fambro. I'm a co-founder, co-CEO of Aptera Motors out of Carlsbad, California. And Aptera, we have a really simple vision, and that's that every journey should be powered by the sun. You can come learn more about it over in the corner booth after the talk.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chucheng Li. I'm from Shenzhen Urban Transport Planning Center. Now I'm a solution director at SUTBC, and our company is actually established in the United States. Originally a government department for transport planning, and now we've been serving governments to do all their development in ITS and also innovative deployments, including mechatronic vehicles, drones, and also electrifications of buses, taxis. And now we've been also working closely with Abu Dhabi Mobility, develop smart mobility platforms.
Well, thank you very much for that. So our topic for this discussion is accelerating urban transportation. So we are at an incredible moment in history. Advanced battery technology, along with computer, hardware, and software, has not only enabled new sustainable transportation options for land, sea, and air, but also the ability for these vehicles to travel autonomously. So there are huge benefits from electrifying transportation. And the faster we make this transition, the bigger the benefit, not only for our global climate, but for the health of each of us as individuals. So speed is truly of the essence. So we are actively rethinking transportation across every sector and changing how much or how vehicles are designed and developed, produced and sold. So I believe Aptera is an extreme example of this transformation of processes. So Steve, can you share some insights into how you are experiencing some of these changes?
Well, first and foremost, the speed, let's say, to adopt electric vehicles and make that transition happen. Something as simple as charging your car. So in my house, we have 3 electric vehicles. My wife, my daughter, myself. So it's like playing musical chairs, trying to find a chance to plug in and charge the car. We're always fighting over it. And I'm waiting for the day I can start driving my Aptera so that I can just park it on the street and not have to charge. So the problem isn't the capacity of electricity that's available to the grid necessarily. It's the network, the wires, the cables, the chargers necessary to bring it to the vehicle. So if you can take away most of that, 16,000 kilometers a year, just from parking in the sun, then you make adoption of electric vehicles much more easy. You take away the friction. You're not relying on the grid and the expansion to make it happen.
So you really had to rethink how to design the vehicle, how it's developed, and how you're producing it as well, right? So completely, what Aptera does is just completely different processes than traditional auto manufacturing. I don't know if you want to speak to any of that real briefly.
Sure. So we set out really to attack the single largest cost of the electric vehicle. It's the batteries, right? The most expensive part, it's the heaviest part. So we said, how do we make electric vehicles more affordable? We're going to use less batteries. How do we do that? We have to make it the most efficient vehicle in the world. We have to reduce the weight and reduce the drag. And so by focusing on efficiency that way, we're able to reduce the size of the batteries so that it costs less, it weighs less, it charges faster, doesn't need a supercharger, fast charger, and it just makes the adaptation more easy, more approachable. It also comes down to the fact of how the vehicle is assembled. There's no welding or steel or things like that. It's just composite panels that are pressed every 6 minutes and bonded together very quickly. There's only 10 pieces instead of 200 like a typical vehicle, so it just costs less to manufacture. So designing for efficiency from the beginning lets us use fewer batteries and not be so reliant on the grid, which accelerates the adaptation of electric vehicles.
Fantastic. I think from a government point of view, what we've seen over the last few years is the increasing adoption of electric vehicles. A few years ago, you drive in Abu Dhabi, you will see hardly any electric vehicles. Lately, the trend is really taking up. And also the variety of the technologies that is being developed. We're talking about fast charging, talking about infrastructure that enable anybody, as you said, either charge at home or have the convenience and flexibility. Wherever they're going to end up, they will find a charging station nearby that can facilitate their. So we are proposing from an infrastructure point of view, we are incentivizing the industry to come and partner with us to make sure this is a viable option and integrating all the nodes, whether it's freight, talk about, or as well private vehicle as well as stocking vehicles as well. So this is good to see that variety from our point of view to serve our customers.
This is a very interesting point. With the Aptera being a solar-powered vehicle, and we wanted speeding this transition, one of the big things holding us back is charging infrastructure. So a vehicle that doesn't need to be charged really helps us. I mean, it's not a vehicle for every family, but a good percentage of people can really use a vehicle like that. And that seems that would really speed things up. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, advances in technology are enabling greater sustainability in transport. So Hendrik, your company is a great example of this. So can you tell us how these advances in technology have allowed you to begin transforming the very specific, very polluting niche that you work in?
Yeah, I think all of us here on the panel, but also the audience are innovators, and we believe in this very bright future enabled through electrification and autonomous driving. But the most important step to make this vision a reality is take the first right step. And the first right step for us in the freight industry was electrifying and automating yards where it works already today. And when you look into those kind of applications like in a port, you want to charge hundreds of vehicles, and charging hundreds of vehicles is possible in those kind of applications, even for heavy trucks, as you can install also on a very condensed area, many charging stations, but also are driving shorter distances. So you can optimize your impact there locally and reduce already your carbon footprint within the overall freight journey massively today, and then take those learnings and also building great business cases. It's not only subsidies, it's saving money for business companies and therefore for everyone, and then taking those learnings into the next step and electrifying road transportation.
So besides technological advances, innovation is being driven more and more by public and private partnerships. So Dr. Lee and Abdel, this is a This is you two are very well placed to speak to this about the public and private collaborations. How are these driving innovation?
Thank you, Dominic. I give you a little bit of our experience in Shenzhen to help to discuss this topic. Obviously, we believe private-public partnership is most important in transportation sector because a lot of investments coming from the public sector. And in Shenzhen, talking about electrification, Shenzhen now have over 700,000 EVs, private EVs, and out of 4 million private cars. So it's about 1/5 is EVs. And also we have 16,000 buses, 100% electrification, and also 20,000 taxis, 100% electrification. Those are promoted by the government, and they promote it for the taxi company and also the bus company to use electrified buses from BYD. So this coming to a virtuous loop that the enterprise get benefits, and then the government's sharing the benefits from their investment. And also this is another key things for connecting an autonomous vehicle as well. And Shenzhen is also advancing very quickly in deploying connecting autonomous vehicles. And what government did is, at the very first place, similar to other cities like Singapore and California, and encouraging the testing for CAV companies in Shenzhen. But what the government did is they do the first legislation for CAVs to grant them the rights to operate on road. So at the very beginning, the CAV company, they're thinking, okay, if I'm going to be granted my license in this city or another city, but with the legislation, they have the confidence to test in this city because they have a set up process which you need to apply for. If you meet this criteria, you will definitely be granted your testing in the city. So this kind of enable large-scale testing for CAVs. That's what government did to supply private sector in adopting advanced new technologies, and also for other things like the electrification I mentioned, and also Shenzhen is advancing quickly in drones, urban air transportation. The first takeoff of EHang and Autofly, where we can see over there, is in Shenzhen, not in other cities. So that's kind of innovative and promotion from the government, from the public sector, to enable the deployment of private sector technologies. So those kind of actions, I believe, will be helping the technology and accelerating urban transportation.
Right. I feel like you're very modest because Shenzhen is really like leading the world and this public-private partnerships and speaking autonomous and electrification, and with the EV tolls especially, it's pretty remarkable.
Dominic, you mentioned the public-private partnership to enable these technologies. I'd like to reiterate what our chairman and what our director general mentioned in their keynote speech yesterday. I would like also to invite you to visit us in ADNIC Tuesday and Wednesday, where they will continue talking about what the future holds in terms of public-private partnership. And the reason is we learn from the private sector their speed in terms of innovation, their bold moves to try new technologies. While in the government sector, we are keen on making sure it is efficient, it is safe, it is viable. So I think that combination will be the success of the future of transportation that we are talking about. We need to accelerate. That's what this topic is all about. And this is exactly what we are doing collectively together. Dr. Lee talked about the autonomous vehicles of the future. We're going to serve plans here and there. We're talking about evaluating those technologies, testing it, and issuing the operational permits for them as quickly as possible without any complications, ensuring all the other requirements is being monitored. I see the future of our industry as automated, connected or collaborative, shared and electric. Because borrowing some notes from a dear colleague, he was saying our children will experience a totally different mode of transportation in the future. And I'm glad I'm sitting here in front of the groups that are shaping the future for our next generation. Our role as government is to enable us.
So just to stay on this theme for a while of public and private partnership. So from the government perspective, we've heard, but we have some very interesting private company CEOs. So how has your relationship, so you're based in Germany. So how has your relationship with the German government been as far as helping you develop your business? Has it been helpful?
So Europe was a great place to launch the company. We have very high standards when it comes to safety, cybersecurity, compliance, and we needed to fulfill those standards from the very first day. But it was very hard, and for now scaling this globally, I think hubs like Abu Dhabi can be a very good spot in order to develop this together, as you have regulators that really want to take an active role. Germany, we are known for being sometimes a little bit slower when it comes to those kind of things, and therefore we are actively now wanting to take the next step. Places like Abu Dhabi, and therefore I see great potential when you take technology now from the yards to the hospitals.
And Steve, so you work in the United States, which is not known necessarily for its streamlined government processes for regulation. How is your relationship with the U.S. government or the state governments? How have they helped you in a lot of ways with the Aptera develop your company?
I think it's two answers. It's probably similar to my colleagues where there's a federal level and a state level or a regional level. So with the United States federal government, with anything, they're very slow to act. But we've been very happy with the state of California, who is quite progressive in their adaptation of electric vehicles. We've won a $21 million grant from them to help build our solar plant and our battery plant. And so at the state level, we're really seeing action, not just words, but real action to help accelerate electric vehicles. I would just like to make one point to my colleague, who with us shares a vision of the future of being all electric. In countries like the UAE, that doesn't mean a future without oil, because our vehicle is actually made from oil. The resins, the plastics, the carbon fiber all start here under the ground as oil. So all we're talking about is, instead of burning it, making it into an even higher value product and then selling that as an electric vehicle.
That's a great point. Yeah, future without oil. Burning oil, but actually still using, oil still has a huge role in the future for composites and plastics and all that. Great. So this is a great question for all of you. From your unique and well-placed points of view, what trends do you expect to see and experience from this next generation of mobility? Maybe start with Dr. Lee.
I think Abdulkader have mentioned something for this already, and for the next generation, there will be a lot of mobilities that will be included and also shared, automated. A lot happen like this. What I believe is one of the key about integration from multimodal, because just take Shenzhen as example from our experience. Shenzhen advancing very fast in deployment of metro lines. So the metro lines work like twice in the last decade. So it's a dramatic increase, but this makes the public transport totally different. So the mode share for buses, well, that's before COVID. Before COVID, it was about I think 4 million ridership per day. But after COVID, it was about 100. Well, COVID is a reason, but the development of metro line is another key reason. So how each mode is integrating with each other is a key things we need to think about. So we now in this event we have land, air, sea, and all how this is integrating all together is a key issue for us to think about. So if we have from here a flying taxi from Dubai to Abu Dhabi in say 3 years time, so what is the existing network going to be changing? So the takeoff and landing points could be a key hub, could be another congestion point. So how are we going to think of a feeder services through this location? So this will be a important things to be considered by the government. So integration, I believe, is a key word, and how we're gonna adopt this changes, and also during the transition period, how we're gonna get ready for it is a key thing for us. Back to the topic, how we accelerate the urban transition. We don't want to create another congestion because of the adoption of new technologies and also the integrations between the transport modes.
Yes. Steve.
I think the changes that you'll continue to see are extrapolation of current trends. So if you look at sales data, now we've got over 10 years of EV sales data in North America, and you look at those data and with the help of even ChatGPT to analyze it for you, you can see the trends. The trends are very simple. People are choosing with their pocketbook the highest range vehicle for the lowest amount of dollars. They're choosing efficiency. We don't have to preach about efficiency anymore. The market is already choosing those. Those are the highest sales volumes vehicles that are out there, the ones that have the highest range for the lowest cost. So that's our premise, focusing on efficiency to make them more affordable, and we see that being the ongoing trend. We don't think 4,000 kilogram electric trucks and SUVs solves the problem. That's an answer to a question nobody asked. We think that the market is proving itself with efficiency just by looking at the sales data, not what people are saying, but what they're doing, where they're putting their money. So we see us, at the forefront of that trend.
Great. I think we are saying the same message. The future trend, automated, shared, electrical. But what fascinates me is increasing role of artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning and big data analysis. Because all of the new systems we are talking about, it is connected. It is pumping a lot of information that enable us as operators, as regulators, to manage the demand of the transportation as a whole in an integrated fashion. So I think that trend will be increasing, and that trend will determine which mode becomes more popular based on the efficiency, based on the economical viability and value, as well as based on the government's desire to commit to its target safety. At the same time, helping them to grow and making sure that I was pulling some stats. Said when I started working 27 years ago, our world population were only about 6 billion. Today we are 8 billion. Abu Dhabi's drivers and population has increased 268 fold. So that trend will continue. And we will still need to serve all of that, will be in its good, in its us, being transferred in the most efficient and safe manner. So the trend is more use of Gemini you mentioned, but all other brands as well, Gemini and so on. But that importance of data analytics, data-driven decision will shape future of data development.
How do you feel? What trends do you feel you expect to see?
So when the autonomous vehicle industry took off around 10 years ago, many people were afraid that this new technology was taking away jobs. And quite the opposite. What everybody has learned is that actually autonomous vehicles create jobs when you combine the best out of both worlds. So artificial intelligence and human intelligence in a hybrid approach. This is where technologies and humans thrive. And this is also what we built. So we are developing trucks that drive 95% of the time autonomously. But there are certain maneuvers where the autonomous system needs human assistance. And by providing this human assistance and from a remote operator location, so from an office, you are creating higher value jobs. So people that work from an office, no one wants to sit in a truck and sweat there or being endangered by a falling container. No one wants to do this job. It's clear. But when this new job for a truck driver in the future is a job where you're sitting in an office and supporting many autonomous vehicles. So we are today deploying one operator controlling 4 trucks. This is a nice job for people that have safer, more efficient, more productive jobs in the future. And therefore, I really want to accelerate also on this trend, not only on the electrification part, but also creating really good job opportunities.
I think our time is just about up here, but I'd just like to thank you all for joining us here. And the future is looking pretty amazing. You know, there's a lot to be there's a lot to look forward to. And thank you again for joining us. And